The moment you explain yourself, something inside you flinches. Not because you're weak, not because you're insecure, but because you learned silence before you learned safety. You don't raise your voice. You don't rush to clarify. You don't correct the misunderstanding. You let the room believe whatever it wants. On the surface, this looks like strength, like composure, like emotional maturity, like power. But inside, something tightens, because there's a quiet truth you rarely admit, even to yourself. You're not silent because you don't care. You're silent because caring once cost you something. There was a moment, maybe many, when defending yourself didn't protect you. It exposed you. It backfired. It made things worse. So you learned the most adaptive rule of all. Stay still. Stay unreadable. Stay safe. And here's the paradox almost no one talks about. The strategy that once protected your dignity is now slowly erasing your presence. You call it not explaining yourself, but sometimes it's self-abandonment disguised as discipline. You tell yourself, if I have to defend myself, I've already lost. Yet part of you aches to be seen accurately, to be known, not just respected. This video isn't about teaching you to argue. It's about understanding why silence became your shield, and when that shield quietly turned into a prison. Because real power isn't never defending yourself. Real power is knowing when silence is wisdom, and when it's a trauma reflex wearing a crown. The psychology behind the silence. Let's ground this. The never defend yourself archetype doesn't come from confidence. It forms in environments where explanation was unsafe, pointless, or punished. Not always loud abuse. Sometimes something quieter, colder. This pattern is rooted in emotional neglect schemas. Situations where your inner world was consistently misunderstood, minimized, or ignored. You learned early. My inner reality will not be protected by others. I must protect it by hiding it. From this, several psychological mechanisms emerge. Hypervigilance. Your nervous system became exquisitely sensitive, not to danger in general, but to social threat. Done. Micro-expressions. Power shifts. You learn to read the room instead of revealing yourself to it. Hypervigilance doesn't look like fear. It looks like control. Avoidant attachment. You didn't stop needing connection. You stopped expecting safety from it. So you learned to self-regulate through distance. Defending yourself requires vulnerability. And vulnerability once meant exposure without protection. So you internalized a quiet belief. If I stay opaque, I stay sovereign. Identity built on containment. Over time, your brain's default mode network, the system responsible for self-narrative, rewired around restraint. Your identity became less about who you are and more about what you don't reveal. You didn't develop loud self-esteem. You developed containment. And society rewards this. Silence reads as confidence. Distance reads as authority. Emotional economy reads as status. But psychology reveals the cost. When self-expression is consistently suppressed, the nervous system never learns that being known is survivable. The unlived self. Carl Jung said, the greatest burden a child must bear is the unlived life of the parents. But there's another burden, rarely named. The unlived self. The version of you that wanted to say, that's not who I am. That hurt me. You misunderstood me. You swallowed those sentences. Again, and again, and again, until silence stopped feeling like a choice and became identity. Here's the invisible grief. You gain composure, but lose resonance. You gain control, but lose warmth. You gain power, but lose mirroring. The human need to be reflected accurately in another's eyes. The core fear beneath this pattern isn't conflict. It's misrepresentation, being seen wrongly, and having no safe way to correct it. So you endure being misunderstood, because misunderstanding feels familiar. Seneca warned, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. But this suffering isn't imagined. It's subtle, chronic, a background ache. It appears in small moments. When someone assumes something about you and you let it stand. When credit is misplaced and you stay quiet. When your intentions are questioned and you retreat inward. Not because you're weak, but because explaining yourself once felt like standing naked in a storm. How it shows up in your life. You may recognize yourself here. In relationships, you withdraw instead of clarify. You go quiet instead of saying, "That's not what I meant." They often say, "I feel like I never really know you." In career and power dynamics, you let others project competence or incompetence onto you. You avoid self-advocacy, not from lack of ambition, but because visibility feels unsafe. You rely on silent excellence instead of visible narrative. In self-worth, your confidence is internally sourced, but fragile, because no one mirrors it back accurately. You oscillate between quiet superiority and private self-doubt. In boundaries, you don't explain boundaries. You disappear. Ghosting becomes protection. Distance becomes language. In emotional regulation, you intellectualize instead of feeling. Calm becomes armor. In identity, you know who you are internally, but struggle to let others know you externally. Here's the reframe that changes everything. These are coping mechanisms, not personality traits. You are not mysterious. You are conditioned. You are not above explaining yourself. You are protecting a nervous system that learned explanation was dangerous. Unlearning doesn't begin with force. It begins with witnessing, not shaming silence, not demanding expression, just noticing. I am withholding here because my body expects harm. That awareness alone begins to loosen the grip. Choice, not exposure. Healing doesn't mean oversharing. It means choice, inner reparenting. The part of you that learns silence needs reassurance. You are allowed to be seen now. I will protect you. Shadow work. Name the hidden belief. If I explain myself, I lose power. Then test it slowly, selectively. Nervous system regulation. Safety isn't cognitive. It's physiological. Breath, grounding, slowing your speech instead of erasing it. Softness over survival. Power doesn't disappear when you speak. It becomes relational. Rainer Maria Rilke wrote, "Live the questions now. Perhaps you will then, without noticing it, live into the answer." You don't need to defend yourself to everyone, but you deserve relationships where you don't have to disappear to feel safe. The goal isn't to be louder. The goal isn't to be fixed. The goal is to become whole. If this touched something unspoken in you, share it with someone who lives in silence too. And if you want more explorations like this, where psychology meets the hidden architecture of the self, subscribe, not to change who you are, but to finally understand yourself.